Good morning, everyone. Here we are at a lovely millennial setting on the New South Wales coast at Narooma, with the backdrop behind us of the tidal inlets from the Pacific Ocean. We're going to talk today about a very serious subject, the warning of the last days, and we'll hand it over to Wade to fill you in on the subject of the paper, the title and the subject content.
Yes, Roger. We're discussing today the planned destruction of humanity, and it sounds pretty grim, and it is grim. The reality is that when God created the earth millions of years ago, he established all of the Elohim, all of the sons of God, under their morning stars from around the universe here to see the creation of this planet. Now, Satan was the quadrant commander, the morning star of this planet Earth, and he created beings, dinosaurs, he created humanoids, and the plan for this Earth was to be, finally, that it was to become the center of the universe, and man, humans, were to be created so that they would become Elohim, that is, sons of God, and take their place with the host, who were created as Elohim in the first place. And they were placed in charge of the earth. Satan and the what became the demons were placed in charge of this earth. And intelligent life was only possible within plus or minus 2 million years of the mainstream star systems. So we are now determining from our science. About 1 million years ago, Satan started creating humanoids, and they failed each of the experiments where they went through the different types of humanoids and the Neanderthals and the Denisovans and the Cro-Magnons and on down, and each was deficient in its creation. Now, Satan decided that therefore humanoids could not perform as Elohim. And he told God that he didn't think, and the fallen host disagreed with the creation of man. For some reason or other, about 12,000 years ago, this planet became Tohu and Bohu. We don't understand quite why. We don't understand what the reasons were, but it did become Tohu and Bohu, and the Elohim had to be sent here to refurbish the planet. Now, in the book of Job, we see in 38:4-7 that God created the earth, and he summoned all these people to be there. And the fallen host and Satan had access to the throne of God all through that time, up until at some point during the last few thousand years. Now, the Job 1:6 and 2:1 tell us that Satan and the fallen host were among the Elohim in their access to the throne of God. All of this sequence then had to be developed from Genesis 1, chapter 1, and the refurbishment took place under Christ and the Elohim host with Satan about in the year 4004 BC from our historical records, that isn't from the biblical record.
Right.
So all of this is set out, and the creation week, the refurbishment, took place in 7 days. Now, the reason it took place in 7 days was specifically to give us a time frame so that we could relate, and the week was established on the 7-day sequence, and Satan's system was given the 6 working days of the creation under Satan, and then the final 7th day, the Sabbath of the Messiah, was to last 1,000 years. So the whole structure of the creation of mankind was to last 7,000 years. 6,000 for Satan and 1,000 under Christ. Now, Adam sinned and Satan got them to sin. So they were judged when Adam was old enough, that is 30 from his creation. He was judged and then removed from Eden. Satan was then given the rulership of this planet from 3974 BC through to the year 2027. His 6,000 years are up in the Jubilee of 2027. And there's nothing can be done about that. That is the way it's going to be, and Christ will then come. The demons will go into the pit, and Christ and the host will rule the world. And the humans of the patriarchs and prophets and the early church and the saints right up until these last days will be resurrected, and they will then become the host ruling the earth with Christ. Satan is not going to go quietly. He objected to the creation of mankind. He spent 6,000 years proving that they were unworthy to be created and unworthy to become Elohim. He created a complete false system of religion based on the sun and mystery cults, establishing the solar system. And in establishing the solar system, he established sun worship. He reversed the Sabbath from the 7th-day Sabbath of the Bible to Sunday worship, to the first day, which was when he began to rule the planet. So he established the day of the sun, and he established the solstice, which became the Christmas festival, and he established the Easter cult of the sun and mystery cults under the goddess system and the god Attis from the Middle East. Now, this system penetrated the whole world, and it penetrated Christianity 2,000 years ago, and it became the religion of the world, and the people who tried to follow God and keep the covenant with God. God said, quite simply, I'll give you my laws, I'll give you my calendar, which flows from the laws, and I'll give you the testimony, and if you keep those, I'll make you gods. But that wasn't good enough. Humans simply will not do what they're told. And they've relegated themselves to the second resurrection in most of the religious systems of the world, and the only thing left is the Church of God in the final systems to go into the millennium, and then the Holy Seed, which will be separated out after this chaos and this carnage that Satan is about to inflict on the world. Once you make Satan your God, you are subject to him and his whims, and the fallen host can do what they like with you.
Right, you have not got God's protection at all.
No, you're not under the protection of God, and that's why they wanted to kill everybody who tried to follow the Bible and the Sabbaths and everything else. and they will be in a serious situation. Now, all of this is now going to come to a head, and by the new year of 2028, we will start the millennial system under Christ. Christ should be here just before the new year of 2028 and organised for the Passover of 2028, and the whole world will be subjugated to the Christ and the heavenly host and to the laws of God and the testimony and to the temple calendar. If you're not keeping that, and all of the Jews who keep Hillel and keep these Babylonian intercalations and systems, the churches of God that follow the Jews in the last 20th century, from 1940 to 46 and onwards, will be corrected. And if they do not repent, they will die and they will go to the second resurrection. There's no negotiation. We're about to go into now the empire of the beast of 42 months. That system will take over the world and destroy the Trinitarian Son and Mystery cult religion.
It's an amazing fact. You know, Satan has been here for the time he has, and he's established the false religions all over the world. It's been taught even through secular education, through the Judeo-Christian element in our secondary educations, or even further from primary school. And he set all that up to deceive people, to make sure that they don't qualify for the first resurrection. And he's ultimately the one that's going to destroy his own system that he set up.
Yes,
it's amazing.
He was given a series of limitations and time frames by God.
Yeah.
He couldn't interfere with the final prophecies of the Bible. They were all going to happen, and God set them up through Isaiah and Jeremiah, and then Ezekiel and Daniel, and then the later prophets. All of that sequence could not be interfered with. Now, he used this Son and Mystery cults to destroy that. But the sequence of prophecy is fulfilled through the prophets, and we have covered that in the commentaries on those prophets. And the prophet Daniel gave the Babylonian system from the Battle of Carchemish in 605 BCE right through into the 20th century. And that system culminates in this empire of the beast of the 10 toes about to take over the world.
Yeah, and that's available in our paper on Daniel 4. It sets up all that and explains that thoroughly. And the Church of God systems have it wrong. All that theology is incorrect. No, they take it from the 7 times 360 years, the 2,520 years, from an incorrect premise, from an incorrect time frame. They take it from the time the Assyrian captivity, and then they add the 2,520 years from the Israelite captivity by the Assyrians up to 1800 to 1803, which is incorrect.
Yes, well, the problem we're dealing with in the Sardis and Laodicean systems coming out of North America was that they just simply didn't know enough, and they didn't know what they were talking about. Now, all of that, you got to get out of your minds, look at the commentaries on the Bible, the from F0 to 4, 5, 6, 7, and then through the end of Malachi. And the commentaries detail the structure through to the last days. And we are about to enter the last 4 years of the Great Tribulation, which we've covered in the paper of that name. It's on the Rumble series, and the paper can be downloaded. It's the the series on the 141 series D underline 2 will give you the Great Tribulation sequence. Now, it's important that we understand what is happening. Satan has organized this Trinitarian religious system, the religious whore, which operated with the kings of the world and persecuted the churches of God, the saints, is now about to be destroyed. All Trinitarian religious systems, all Hindus, all Buddhists, Confucianists, and every other religious system not keeping the law and the testimony and the calendar that flows from it will be destroyed, and Satan will destroy most of it up until the coming of the Messiah, and the Messiah will then cleanse the planet and re-establish the religious system that was given to Moses, and that system will become operational for 1,000 years, and the holy seed will be re-educated, and the whole planet will be run according to the laws of God. If people do not obey, do not get rid of the Jewish heresies of Hillel and the Talmud and the Kabbalah, and they get rid of Sunday, Christmas and Easter, and all of these false religious systems, they will die. And Christ will require all of the nations to keep the laws, the Sabbaths, the new moons, and the feasts, and send their representatives to Jerusalem. And if they do not, they will commence to die of famine and the plagues of Egypt. They will get no rain in due season.
We have Zechariah 14.
Zechariah 14, verses 16 to 21. And that system will be operational. Isaiah 66, verses 23 to 24. You'll keep the Sabbaths and the new moons from one Sabbath and one new moon to the next, or you will die. And it's that simple. Now, they're about to shut down all religious expression on this planet. They're about to get rid of the religious systems of the planet and try and destroy all of it. And the whole world will go after the beast, and they'll make themselves harlots to the beast and to the false prophet and to the Antichrist over this next 4 years. And then they will all be wiped out. It's most important that you understand what is to happen to the world. And if we don't understand what's to happen, then you will suffer the consequences.
Right.
This is not a game. This is the end of the age of Satan, and he knows that he has to clean this planet, and he's going to try and kill as many humans as he possibly can. That's covered in the paper on the planned destruction of humanity. That's 141D2B. Thank you.
Thank you.